The 2019 Outsider Racing League has run races all over the country and outside of it. We visited Daytona, Sonoma, Darlington, Atlanta, and even taken a field trip to Silverstone in the UK, and so many more. The Race to the Chase has taken us through 13 rounds of action, culminating in one final regular season finale. A 6-race playoff style format lies ahead, and the top 10 drivers in points will move on to the postseason. Tonight we do battle under the lights at Richmond Raceway in Virginia. Tonight we race on a short track where the tempers are red hot like the brakes slowing these cars through the corners. To win this race, you first have to finish it. And that gets a whole lot harder with the competition running over your bumper for 200 laps. Welcome to SimTV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney Nakuna for tonight's Outsider Racing League season finale. We head on to the chase beginning next week. Finney, and short track racing tonight. Tempers can flare, especially with the points as close as they are at the top of the grid.
Yeah, everything is really close together. We don't entirely still know who's going to be making it on into the next round just yet. We know a majority of the field, but still a few spots up to grab, and you can bet your life that it's definitely going to be interesting, especially when guys get desperate.
Taking a look at our championship points as qualifying is underway right now. Alec Martinez, Jeremy Miller, and Tim Downey, all three of those drivers are safely locked into the points. However, you take a look at guys like Angelo Ronis, Alex Bell, AJ Stravato, all drivers that are trying to get themselves in. Eli Hinton is absent tonight, so he will fall out of those 10 drivers that are in at the moment. So that's a spot up for grabs, and if Bell, Ronis, or even Lakatos has a bad night, that could be a whole other group of drivers that people could grab spots from. Take a look at our track map before we head into tonight. Again, 3/4 mile racetrack here in Richmond Raceway. 4 corners around here, Finian, but the challenge of this track is keeping your brake temps cool and staying out of trouble here. 200 laps is not a short race by any stretch of the imagination, so maintaining your equipment and staying out of trouble is going to be the key to tonight. Heading down to the racetrack now is we got about 2 minutes left in qualifying, and right now Brandon Bowers sits on pole, a provisional pole for the moment. He comes on through in the 31 car at the time of a 20.533, which is his best lap so far. Eddie Trejo in the 21 has made a lap. He's 4th quick. A lot of drivers have not yet made qualifying efforts here, Finney. I wonder why so few drivers have made that effort so far.
I think a lot of guys are planning on taking this race a little bit easy because remember, a lot of these, for quite a bit of the field, just trying to make it into the next, make it into the playoffs in the first place. They don't have to win the race; they just got to finish well. And I think they obviously don't want to be up at the top of the field where they have a good shot at getting caught in it. And I think they want to pace themselves for this race. It's a 200-lap race; a lot can happen in those laps, and they want to make sure they're out of those things.
Jeff Wright in the 48 has been so good lately. He's going to come on through for his first lap here, and I think we're expecting him to be a race-winning car tonight. A 20.684 is going to put him currently 3rd on the board. Lap 2, though, should be quicker. Again, the new tire model V7 on these race cars, Finian, makes them better as the run goes on, and we'll see what Jeff Wright can run on lap number 2. So how does that change your strategy tonight in terms of tire conservation?
You definitely got to pace yourself over the run. You can't just be turning in Q laps every single lap and just hoping for the best. You really got to pace yourself. You can't overdrive the car, but at the same time, you can't underdrive the car because then you're obviously going to get passed by people. So you got to find a balance of a good pace, good rhythm to keep yourself going, and make sure you don't burn up your stuff because it's very, very easy to do.
So drivers warming up, and they only have about a minute left to lay down a time. Bailey Turner in the 24. Really high through 3 and 4, kind of arcing it in, maybe setting himself up for a fast lap number 2. This will be his first effort as he begins lap 1, so he might only get 1 lap if he can't finish this one quickly. And he's going to rotate up on the bottom of turns 1 and 2 onto the back straightaway now. Down into 3 and 4. And again, I think the balance early in the run is going to be challenging with how slippery these cars are, but as the run goes on, the tires will warm up. They'll get themselves into better condition. And Bailey Turner just went 5th quick. I think he's going to want a little bit more than that. He will have time to finish this lap.
You just got to make sure it doesn't mess up as he has a little bit of a slip-off off of turn 2.
It ain't real low for the entry to turn 3. He's going to come up off the corner. Brandon Bowers in the 31. He might get pole unless Bailey Turner can improve. He does not. The only other car on the racetrack right now is Matt White. Comes across the line at 20.8. That will not be pole. Over half the field did not qualify, Finian. That shocks me, but it'll be Brandon Bowers and Alex Bell on the pole and on the outside of that front row in that 15.
Yeah, and I got to say, fantastic job to Brandon Bowers, too. He's done a phenomenal job with the last few races. I don't think we really mentioned it a whole lot, but he's improved a lot over the course of the season. He's become more of he's established himself more towards the front of the field than usual. So Let's see if he can keep it up tonight, starting on pole.
Yeah, so again, we're waiting for the field to get gridded up. Let's take a look at our track conditions tonight. 68 in the air, 71 on the racetrack in terms of temperature, 5 miles an hour of wind out of the west, clear skies, perfect conditions for racing. They're also not going to change a whole lot. The only changes we're going to see are the changes in the rubber temperature, or the rubber as the run goes on. Again, 200 laps around here with almost 30 cars. We're going to see a lot of transitional changes in the grip throughout this event. All right, let's take a look at our starting lineup here on the front row tonight. We already mentioned him. Brennan Bowers, the Mid-South, rolls off in the pole position in the number 31. Alex Bell from Ohio rolls off second in his number 15.
Yep, and then moving on back to row number 2, and the 12 car guy, Yusuf Akali, starting in third. And outside of him in fourth, Jeff Wright in the 48.
And moving on back to row number 3, in 5th place, Bailey Turner, the Californian, in the number 24. In his outside, Adam Cabot in the 77. He's been real. I believe he actually won here last season at this racetrack, so he'll be real hard to beat tonight.
Yep, and moving on back behind him, Elliot Butler. He's also going to do a song and dance with not that many guys out here on the track. He's clinched his spot into the next round of playoffs, as well as Jeremy Miller, who's already clinched, starting in 8th.
Robert Gaba rolls off 9th in the number 75. Joshua Banks in the 36 in 10th on the outside of row 5.
Back in row 11, we got Eddie Trejo in the 21 trying to race his way in, as well as the outside of him, 33 of AJ Stravato, also trying to race his way in from 12th.
In 13th, Reggie Ortega in the number 2. That's that purple and green car at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Then Matt White on the outside, the number 70 car from the Midwest.
Yeah, and after Matt White, that rounds out all the drivers that put down a qualifying time. Then we got Casey Licata starting in 15th, and the 15 outside of him in the 82, Bryce Calusa in 16th.
Yeah, so we're going to let the rest of those scroll along the bottom of the screen as we get ready to go racing tonight. Up in front, though, Brandon Bowers in that 31. He's been mighty quick lately, as you mentioned. The performance has been increasing for him. Alex Bell as well missed a bunch of races early in the season. We take a look at the point standings. He walks in only 2 points above the cut line. So what are his goals tonight, Finney? What do you think, Alex Bell? How aggressive should he be, or how conservative should he be in that number 15?
Well, for Alex Bell, I mean, all he really needs to, what he needs to do, well, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Brian Chambliss for typing this all up. This is information we're going to be using all night long, so great job on him. For Alex Bell, he clinches with the win, or if he at least finishes 3 positions ahead of Eli Hinton or AJ Stravato, and obviously Eli Hinton not here, so you just got to worry about AJ Stravato and where he is on the track.
Field rolls through turns 3 and 4. It's a 200 lap race tonight, 144 miles. And we got another pace lap to complete before we get rolling here tonight. But 144 miles here tonight, Finney. It's not a super short race, about an hour and 8 minutes if we go green from start to finish. But we're not going to go green from start to finish. You're over-under on the caution tonight. People are guessing around 7. Do you think it'll be more or less?
Honestly, I think it might be a little less. I think maybe 5. So we'll see how that works. Obviously, again, fairly long race, so you can expect quite a few cautions. I think someone's a little bit much, so I'm going to stick with 5.
All right, so on to the back straightaway now. Field gearing up to go racing tonight. And Alec Martinez, again, he's got nothing to lose. He's starting all the way at the back tonight. He's clinched into the chase. It's all about bonus points now for he and the 48 of Jeff Wright. Field rolls off at turn number 4. The green flag in the hand of the starter. It's Brandon Bowers on pole. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Richmond. Casey Licata's pulled out of line, but so far, so good. Lap 1 complete. Robert Gaba in the 75 up to 8th place right now on the inside of the 30 of Jeremy Miller. The Daytona winner who's had such a good season. Up in front of them, Bailey Turner and Jeff Wright side by side. That's for 4th.
Yeah, these guys have been battling and finding themselves next to each other a lot on the track lately, and no less, here they are yet again fighting for 5th place. 4th place.
Yusuf Ghali in the 12. It was his switch to Toyota that really turned his season around, and he's already closing in on that 31 for the lead. So we could have a lead change here relatively soon. Let's jump back a little bit deeper in the field to the 21 of Eddie Trejo. Let's take a look at his point situation. He comes in here 10 points behind the cutoff. It's a bit of a stretch that he could get in, but again, Eli Hinton is out, so that puts him right on the bubble. He needs to beat AJ Stravato and maybe Alex Bell if he wants to get his way in tonight.
Yeah, it needs to beat AJ Stravado by 13 spots, so he's got to hope that gap expands quite a bit so he can find himself in a spot.
Take a look at Reggie Ortega. He's got some fairly significant front-end damage already, so he's been in the back of somebody early in the going. I didn't see who it was, but that 2-car already hurting on the nose. Out up front, the front two have broken away just a touch. It's Bowers and Gali nose to tail. And remember how Yusuf Gali won at Phoenix? It was, you don't really classify Phoenix as a short track here, but I think it's about fairly similar to Richmond in the way that you drive it, the way you roll through the center of the corners, especially in turns 1 and 2 at ISM Raceway. So this might benefit him tonight, but already closing in on that 31.
Yeah, in behind, Abney Cabot's trying to work over the 48 of Jeff Wright. Wasn't able to get the move done.
And as we roll through lap number 5 already, Cabot started in 6th. He has not been able to go anywhere yet, but remember, he's a past winner here at this racetrack, so he knows how to get it done on the short tracks. We expect him to be pretty good tonight. So everyone just kind of feeling out their situation right now. Clifton Cockrell on the inside of the 30 of Miller. Everyone just kind of feeling out how things are going to go. I think no one's really confident in the grip level of these cars just yet. Alec Martinez started way at the back of the field. Technically was supposed to roll off 15th, but started all the way back in 27th at the tail end of the grid. He's already up to 20th, so plus 7 spots for him early. See Cockrell going back to the inside of the 30 down in 3.
Yeah, for the most part, most of the field spread out already, just kind of single file line. Again, a long way to go in this race. Everyone just kind of getting ready, finding their place in line, and working through this race one spot at a time.
You see Joshua Banks leading on Elliott Butler here. And Banks, again, I don't think we've seen the domination this season that we saw in seasons past. He was a force to be reckoned with last season in terms of race wins. I know he didn't end up having really a good end of the season there, but I don't think he hasn't really been quite as good this time around. I'm not sure if it's been the competition or if the 36 has fallen off or what else is going on, but he just hasn't been quite the force that we've expected to see.
Yeah, and for him to get in, he's eligible, but he needs a lot of stuff to go wrong for a lot of his other competitors, so we'll keep an eye on that 36. But yeah, I do agree with you. I'm surprised that he honestly hasn't already clinched his spot.
No, I do think that Alex Bell last season was probably the second quick of the SWA cars, but Bell has been quicker than the 36 of Banks the last couple times out, so I'd expect that so far it seems to be carrying on the same way. Meanwhile, deeper in the field, Alec Martinez and Jeremiah Vincent, they're side by side for 19th. I think the 18's going around the 8 and gets it done out into turn 1. Right in front of them, Tim Downey Jr. and the Downey Enterprises cars, the 25 and the 26, they have amassed the same number of wins as the 18 of Alec Martinez, who was real slow off of turn 2 in the background. So the 26 and 25 beginning to really put pressure on this 18 for the championship. Eddie Trejo on the inside of AJ Stravado, and we mentioned earlier Trejo's trip to get points tonight. He's got to beat that 33 or at least get ahead of him by some amount, and you see him side by side now with Stravado. And Stravado's had some rotten luck all season long. Do you think he can turn it around tonight, or do you think this is probably a bad place to hope for things to go your way?
I hope for his sake that things go the right way. Again, for Eddie to get in, he needs to pretty much hope that Stravado crashes out as Stravado works back to his inside and gets on by. So that's what the 21's hoping for, obviously, for for Stravado, hoping that things go his way for the first time.
And now the 2 of Reggie Ortega getting by the 21, slots up in front of him at the exit of turn 2. Up the road, Alex Bell has dropped back a couple spots. Jeff Wright, Adam Cabot, Bailey Turner have all gone by. And now you see Joshua Banks and Elliott Butler right in behind the 15. So Bell's got something not quite to his liking in that 15 right now. And again, some drivers might burn off the tires too early. Some drivers might, go better throughout the run with their tires. But we have had a change for the lead, and Yusuf Gali just got around Brandon Bowers.
Solid job there. Passed him in turn 1 last time by, and got the job done. We'll see if he can keep it. Should be able to if he drove up there.
Yeah,
But Bauer's still not too shabby a job hanging in for second. It looks like he's got the pace hang there.
Yeah, Gali was a little bit quicker, so he's going to get on by. You see Joshua Banks now finally getting by Elliott Butler, and he looks like he might be able to complete that pass outside versus inside here, especially on the restarts. Which line do you think is the preferred one here?
I think definitely the inside lane on the restart. I think you're on a one that rolled through 1 and 2. 3 and 4, then it's kind of a different story after that.
Alec Martinez from the back of the grid moving up past Jeremy Miller. And for the longest time, those two, and they still are, 1 and 2 in the point standings. And Jeremy Miller is one of those drivers that we talked about at Daytona. We talked about because he won there. We talked about it at Bristol because he almost won there. But we haven't really spoken a whole lot about him since. But he's been remarkably consistent and still sits second in the point standings after this season. I feel like we haven't talked about him since Bristol. But he's been up there and fighting for top fives, and that's why he's still second in the standings.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's had a lot of midfield finishes, so that's, I think, really why he stayed out of a lot of the conversation. So nothing amazing to write home about with the 30 other than the fact that he's finished really consistent. So hopefully he can continue that on, but he's going to definitely need to start dominating, especially with the guys he's up against for this championship.
Alex Bell is going the wrong direction. Started second, down to 8th right now, so he's dropped 6 spots from the start of the race, and I'm wondering if there's something going on in this car, if he's burning up the tires, if he's using too much brake, or what's going on, because he's not going to be doing very well tonight if he burns his tires off that fast.
Yeah, it looked really promising 10 laps ago, but yeah, everyone caught him, and he kind of didn't really defend a whole lot, and they all just kind of freight trained him on the bottom side, and he hasn't really been able to recover since. So we'll see in the 15, maybe he's trying to back off to the later part of this run. I have to kind of only keep track, but it's not good so far.
Yeah, Alec Martinez also has a bit of damage on his front bumper, so he's been in the back of somebody. It's pretty minor compared to Reggie Ortega, but you see that front splitter flattened out. It's not something that's going to affect you a whole lot here. It's not really an aerodynamic racetrack, but you certainly don't want to be bashing your fenders in all night long, because it's, again, we just crossed the 10% mark of this race. It's a long way to go, so if you start hurting your car early, it's going to be hard to come back from that. Adam Cabot into 3rd. After he started in 6th, and Bailey Turner right behind him, 5th to 4th for the 24. It's all about being smooth with this new tire, and I think for some drivers it's been hugely beneficial. I think we've seen Yusuf Ghali, especially the last couple weeks, has really got something figured out with this package, as well as Brandon Bowers. I think some other drivers it seems to have hurt a little bit. But Zach Halpern especially, we haven't really seen a whole lot of him since his most recent victory. And he's all the way back in 20th, and he has not really gone anywhere. He started 20th, he's still rolling in 20th, so not a good start for the 26.
Yeah, and he's trying to clinch his spot. He needs to finish 24th or better, so not a tall task for the 26. I think he's just kind of taking this round. He just wants to ride this out without any controversy or any fire. I think he's just kind of trying to make it on.
Angelo Ronis is currently in the chase as things stand. It's been just a consistent season, nothing spectacular for him. He's 108 back from the lead, and he's 12 points above the cutoff line. So as long as he just has a pretty decent night, he should be safely in. We've gone 27 laps without a caution so far, and pit stops are not quite on the horizon just yet, so just getting into the groove here, and I'm liking the 12, I'm liking how he looks, I'm liking the 77. I'm not liking the 15, though. He's been dropping out quickly. As Clifton Cockrell as well. He started in 19th, and he clawed forward for a little bit, but now he's just going backwards again. Halpern now side by side with the 16 down the back straightaway. Bryce Calusa in the 82. Last week was running really well, and I was up at the front for most of the Pocono race, but this week started towards the tail end of the grid, started back in 18th, and has dropped 3 spots to 21st, so not liking the short track on this new tire model.
Yeah, let's see if he can try to move himself further up, but it looks like he's kind of struggling. As it stands, Tim Downey Jr. up ahead. He's making a pass to Jeremiah Vincent.
Wow.
Almost gets into the wall.
Yeah, Vincent went way up the track in turn 3 and 4, and he's going to lose 1, maybe 2, and maybe even 3 spots as Zach Halpern's going to size him up, as will Jeremy Miller. No change out up front. Ghali's extended his lead to 1.4 seconds. Remember, he's fighting hard to get into the championship. He's, I don't even know if he's, there he is, 16th. He's got to get 26 points over the next driver to make his way in. I mean, what's his scenario here, Penny? Is it even possible for him to get in at this point?
Yeah, so to clinch a spot, he needs
trouble in the background. It's the 26 of Zach Halpern. Was real slow, and he's still getting hit left and right. Big damage on the left and right front of that car. Got in the fence out of turn 2. and was kind of getting pinballed around. Here's a quick look. I can't seem to grab him.
Yeah, he blinked out, and then he comes back in already in the wall.
Yeah, I was gonna show, but I couldn't bring it up, unfortunately. So we didn't really get a good look at what happened to Halpern. And actually, he's gonna drop again. So I wonder if the internet is not holding on for the 26 car.
Yeah, and he's not entirely safe. So he's looking more likely to get in, but it's not.
He looked like he's dropped Finian. So unfortunately for Zach Halpern, oh, he's back now. Oh, he's getting placed almost all the way back in 24th now, though. So this is not going well. Anyway, we got distracted. What's Yusuf Ghali's situation?
Yeah, so for him to clinch a spot, he needs a win, most laps led, pole halfway, and then Robert will need to finish in 3rd or worse, Jesse Pierce 12th or worse, Martin Sprout 13th or worse, Eddie Trejo 14th or worse, and AJ 24th or worse. So he needs a lot of stars to align to get himself in. But I mean, again, doing what he needs to get done tonight, up in the lead. So he's just got to hope for the best at that point.
Well, it's such a shame too, because after he switched to Toyota a few weeks back, he went over to ISM Raceway and just won that race straight up. And I think the performance has come back to this 12. Remember, in seasons past, he was always a threat to win. Early this season, had the pace to do it, but just didn't find a way into victory lane. Now, he's a race-winning car week in and week out, just too little too late for the 12. Jeff Wright riding in 5th right now. I haven't really talked about him a whole lot yet. Sitting in behind Bailey Turner on the 24.
Yeah, he's just kind of found himself in 5th place. He's kind of just been following on this little train with Bailey Turner and Cabot, as they've all been catching up to Brandon Bowers. And Bowers is going to be in for a wild ride because he's going to be battling some of the strongest guys in the series within a few laps, because he's been slowly trickling on back.
Bowers in the 31 led the first 15 laps of the race, relinquished it to Yusuf Ghali, and has slowed his pace just a little bit. He's the slowest car in the top 5 right now, but not by a whole lot. Again, this has been a fairly impressive run for the 31 so far tonight, and probably one of his better runs of the season. So if he can just keep doing what he's doing, this is a top 5, at very least a top 10 car tonight. Just got to keep the nose clean and keep it out of the fence. Throughout the rest of the field, Alec Martinez is up to 12th, and after starting at the tail of the field here, Finn, I'm liking how this 18 car is looking tonight. And you think back to Bristol, that's a track that he did quite well at. You think back to really all the tracks this season. Again, he's only finished outside of the top 5, once? And it looks like so far tonight he's trekking his way towards that top 10 and maybe even that top 5.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to want to caution, though, at some point to stack everyone back up, because he's definitely not going to get to the lead. Considering how far he started back, and he's 12 seconds behind Lear, which is a lot of time to make up, and he's still working through most of the field.
I'm watching. This is the right front on Alec Martinez as he goes down into turn 1. You can see the brakes glowing red hot on this car, so already leaning quite a bit on the brake temperatures on this vehicle. So that concerns me just a little bit, that he might be abusing this car and these tires to make the speed that he is. So they're not that hot yet. They really concern me when they don't have time to cool off on the straightaway. But again, more brake heat you have, the more tire temperature you have, and the easier your brakes or your tires will wear out. And that means that you're going to have to come into pit road earlier than everybody else. So we got to keep an eye on this, especially with how much these right front tires wear over the course of a run.
And also for Yusuf Ghali, he's finally caught some lap traffic here, so Lear's going to have to start doing some passing here. They've had clean air for quite a while, and now it's going to get dirty yet again as they got to work through the tail end of the field. And here comes Ghali to the inside of Halpern.
Yeah, that's Halpern and then Ryan Lang right in front. Both these drivers not having very good days so far. He's already put DeMarco Starks a lap down in the 40 car back in 27th. And a 44-lap green flag run, and I'm a little bit surprised. I thought we'd see some growing pains here with this new tire on a track that seemed a little bit slippery in practice. So far, so good. The only incident, really, the 26 getting into the fence out of turn 2.
Yeah, that was minor in comparison to some of the other stuff we've seen. It's been pretty clean, pretty green. So far, I'm going to knock on my wooden desk here, because that could change in an instant. But we're almost a quarter of the way through this race.
Yeah, you're taking a look down at the racetrack. You see how much everyone's spread out. The entire track littered with race cars right now, and Ghali has already put a trio of them a lap down and closing in Brennan Gagnon in the number 83. And remember, Gagnon was involved in a couple accidents last week at Pocono, really was not looking for that to happen, and so far tonight hasn't had a whole lot of pace, started 24th, hasn't been able to go anywhere. Although, as I say that, gets by Clifton Cockrell, who's slow out of turn 2. And here comes the 12, Agali, to put them a lap down, or at least a 16. So taking a look at our tire drop-off here, Finney, the last lap that Gali just ran was a 21.9. His best time is a 20.6. That's a 1.3 second drop-off in about half of a run. So that's fairly significant tire drop-off, I would say. And I do think that we're going to see quite a bit of tire wear tonight. So you think overcut or undercut on these long green flag runs is a better way to go here?
Honestly, I would say probably undercut with how much time you're losing, and especially you got to consider with everyone spread out. Again, we started with 27 cars, all 27 of them still out there putting laps down, so everyone's going to be pretty spread out. I think you're going to definitely want to do some do an undercut, so that way you can have some fresher tires to work through some of the traffic, especially as one of the leaders.
Jeff Wright, right on the rear bumper of Bailey Turner going into turn 3, took a look down there and wasn't able to get underneath, but obviously both these cars are putting pressure on Cabin, and they are also closing that gap down to Brennan Bowers. So the fight for second's about to be a 4-car battle.
And not even that, it's going to be a 4-car battle, plus all the lap cars are trying to work past as well, so this can get messy pretty fast. And we were talking about being clean and green. Well, it could change with this battle here, depending on how it goes.
Lap number 50, so at the quarter mark of this race, and it's blown by very, very quickly. And with the pace being set so fast, it's going to make your decisions have to be fast again. Taking a look at the point standings, you know, if you're AJ Stravato, you're Eddie Trejo, you got to be thinking about everyone around you, where they are in the points. You got to be doing that mental math because it's going to matter by the end of this thing. Oh, Jeff Wright gets hooked into the fence by a lap car, into the wall in the front straight.
Yeah, that was Marco Starks that almost got into him in the 40.
I think he did get into him here. I'm going to take a look at the replay. This is out of turn 4, and they do get together. And the 48, oh, I don't know if he got the wall, but it was awful close.
No, he didn't. Yeah, I think Wright thought he was clear. Unfortunately, mistimed that, but he actually doesn't even have any damage on my screen, at least. So.
Yeah, it could have been a whole lot worse than that. You see right in front of them, Brandon Bowers going to the inside of Halpern. And then right behind them, Cabot, Turner, and Jeff Wright. That would be 4, 5, and 3, 4, and 5, rather. Elliott Butler, AJ Stravato, they're trading positions down the back straightaway. AJ, all the bad luck this season. Started 12th up to 7th, 5 spots forward for him as he gets by the 6 of Elliott Butler.
Yeah, Butler, he's pretty much good with the way this race has turned out, so he can just kind of kick up and relax. So he's not really pushing for anything. He's into the playoffs, and he's just, if anything, going for the win. But currently riding out, AJ Stravato, though, has got bigger plans.
You know who can really hang out and relax is Gali. He's got a 3.4 second lead. It's actually the biggest gap that anyone has over any other position in the field right now. So that 12 car, you see him scrape the fence a little bit down the back straight. He is setting an incredible pace, and last time by, he was a 10th quicker than the drivers behind him.
I think you want to make sure he actually absolutely dominates. I think he wants the best shot of getting into the playoffs as he can. So he's trying to give himself as big a lead as possible. Just in case something goes wrong, gets caught up in lap traffic, doesn't have to worry about losing that lead, especially to some pretty fast drivers in behind him.
Both Bailey Turner and Jeff Wright just got around Adam Cabot and putting the 77 back to 5th. And now Bailey Turner sets his sights on that blue and white 31 car who was our pole sitter tonight. And take a look at, I don't see anybody else really leaning on the brakes a whole lot. Nobody's brakes are really hot. I do think the 18, his progress has slowed quite a bit. I'm curious if we take a look at his right front brake camera, if he's still heating up. Looks like he's managed to cool them down a little bit. So that mid-run push really heated his stuff up, and that has killed his pace quite a bit.
Whoa. And he's sliding out of both turns 2 and 4, so I think he's dealing with severe tire wear. He can't wait to get some fresh Goodyears on that car. I don't think he's really going to be able to make any forward progress with the tires he's got on now.
Well, again, it's all about, you know, how hard do you push. Really he's been all sorts of sideways on entry tonight, but
on
you know,
exit too.
In the past you could push that hard and it really wouldn't affect you. But now, oh, crash! Trouble into turn 3. Brennan Bowers drills the back of Gagnon, and it's a chaotic mess for second place as Jeff Wright goes on through. Gagnon slow at the exit of 4, and whoa, 3 wide still. And Bowers with some significant damage to that nose.
And how unfortunate is that after having fantastic run so far?
Yeah, so that's a lot of damage he's got to get solved. I think the 83 was just slow, and Bowers just kind of packed him in the rear end, unable to get out of the way, and that lost him 3 spots and maybe a 4th here as Banks looks for 5th. I wonder how much damage this 31 has mechanically, because it certainly doesn't look great visually. And he's slipping and sliding as well. Gagnon all over the back of him again. I can't imagine those two are thrilled with each other at the moment. And our pole sitter in trouble here on lap number 60.
Yeah, it looks like Bowers' engine is fine. It's reaching peak RPM, so he should be okay.
Just wonder if that any of the fenders are knocked in on that steering at all. It doesn't look like the steering's been affected, but he is definitely lapping quite a bit slower. Last time I was a 22.3, which is a full 1.5 seconds off the pace from everyone else. That time was a 22.0, still a few tenths off. So there definitely seems to be some handling woes after that contact. Mentioned Alec Martinez's pace dropping off. Well, he's got Matt White breathing down his neck, and the 18 flew through the field and now has stalled in 12th to the point where he's actually losing time to the drivers behind him. You see him, how loose he is on it. Like, look at him, he's just sliding this thing into the corner entry. Got a lot of wheel in it on exit as well. So only 17 drivers left in the lead lap as Gali continues to put drivers a lap down. He's got a 3.8 second lead. He's led 47 laps. And if he leads another 52, he'll clinch that most laps led, and that gets him a valuable point towards that chase.
Yeah, I can imagine that's what his eye is on at the moment, just trying to get every single bonus point he can in the books. Because some drivers have started to struggle, and that's allowed him to really benefit.
Down the front straightaway, and we're still working towards our first green flag pit stop. We have seen Bruce Boyer. He just came down, and you see Brandon Gagnon also hitting pit lane. He's got some damage to fix. So seeing some pit stops now, I think we're going to see even more. Robert Gaba hits pit lane in the 75. What do you think the leaders will come? You think they'll probably stay out to the end of the tank?
I think we will want to stay out until the end of the tank. I'm curious how far they can go. I would imagine close to a lap 100, but
we're probably seeing more like laps 75 to 80, judging by a couple drivers coming in so early. But none of the front runners have decided to come on down just yet. Jeremy Miller from 19th comes on in. Taking a look at the manufacturers running so far, it's a lone Toyota in the top 10, then a quartet of Chevys, a blue oval in 6th, another trio of Chevys, another blue oval, and Alec Martinez and Matt White both running the Camry in 11th and 12th, then 2 more Chevys and a Toyota rounding out your top 15. Are we surprised to not see Downey up inside the top 10 yet? I would have thought with the season that he's been having late in the going that this 25 would be up a little bit higher up the field.
I'm guessing he just wanted to just take a breather this week. I think he's just not trying to force the issue. Same thing, but I think Martinez starting back down Boulevard because he doesn't really have a whole lot to worry about. So that's what I imagine is going on with 25. He has been slowly working his way back up the order.
Yeah, from 21st to 15th so far for him. So about 6 drivers, I think that 5 drivers have come down for their first pit stop of the night. The front runners still have not made that. Now, that being said, Jeff Wright has been tracking Gali down. He's shrunk that lead from 3.5 down to 3.0 seconds. A bit of a skirmish off of turn 2. There's Reggie Ortega in the 2. He's a lap down. I would have thought, with him being such a good short track driver, that we would have seen the 2 car up farther up the grid. But again, that damage early in the going seems to be slowing him down from 13th to 18th in the first run. Caution. I'm not sure who it is. Haven't really gotten a chance to see. Do you know what triggered that yellow?
I have no clue. I'm gonna try to do some sleuthing here.
That was triggered by Reggie Ortega. Wonder if there was a misclick, potentially. Is he an admin?
No, there was no admin caution. It was given out by the server.
Really?
Yeah. Hang on, wait. I see some smoke. Hold on.
If you could tell me who that was,
Alex Bell. Alex Bell was around in turn 3.
Really? Okay, I didn't even see him slow, but let's take a look and find out what happened to the 15. don't even know where he is. He's still sitting 8th on the board, so wherever he was at the time wasn't really too bad. So here is a look at how that happened. You said turn 3?
Yep, turn 3, lap 70.
Let's take a look. I don't know if this is the right lap or not. Oh, maybe it was he coming down to... I think I have the right one.
He should have Bruce Boyer behind him.
Huh, I'm having trouble finding the example of him spinning out. Well, we're gonna go more technical here. You said lap number 70. We're gonna go to lap 70, and we're gonna take you to it. Here we go. All right, I think I found a lap. So here's a look at what happened. Took me a while to find this here, but here is the cause of our first caution of the night. Ooh, Bruce Boyer got into him.
Yep.
Saved it. That's why I didn't see where he was, is because he didn't actually loop all the way around. Thus, his speed wasn't slow, and that's why I couldn't figure out who caused the caution. So, no harm, no foul. He keeps rolling, and he rolls out in 9th. And no real loss of pace or time for anybody there. But it did come out in the middle of a pit stop sequence. And so a couple of the drivers probably got burned on that.
Yeah, I don't think a lot, if anything, was a lot of drivers further down the order. I think almost all the drivers were already a lap down when they came in. So none of our front runners really got caught out on that, at least to my knowledge.
It's almost halfway through this race. Working lap number 74, Yusuf Ghali has led 58 laps, and he's been the dominant car of the night. But does this caution even it out? Are we worried maybe about the 48 or the 24 or the 77, or do you think that 12 car is the car to beat?
I would be a little bit worried. I think not necessarily that they were entirely catching him, but he had a decent 3-second gap between them. Also had a few lap cars as well to put some distance. But now he's got Turner, Cabot, Close, a lot of these guys breathing down his neck. So he's got to be good on this short run here. He took a little while to get up to pace and finally chase down Brandon Bowers. So he's really got to get on the loud pedal now and just go as fast as he can without looking back, because I think he's in danger. Especially, we know Bailey Turner, he's pretty aggressive and knows how to get it done. So he's going to definitely try to pursue for this lead.
So, again, this is our points picture walking into the night, and so far, AJ Stravato's looking pretty good. Again, Eli Hinton not able to make it tonight, so the tiebreaker already broken. That moves AJ Stravato into 10th in the standings. He will be running for a championship as long as he continues doing what he's doing. Eddie Trejo in the 21 sits in 9th. He's going to have to do a little bit better than that, I think. But with, see, if anybody else, Casey Licata's only running 14th, so that's going to lose him some spots to the 21. So certainly curious to see how this is going to pan out tonight towards the end of this race. So we'll keep you updated on the points picture. 1 to green, quick yellows here at Richmond, and a bunch of cars getting the wave around. 17 drivers on the lead lap. Bryce Calusa, the last of them. If you just joined us and you're new to SimTV, make sure you hit the red subscribe button so you can always make sure that you're caught up with all the latest live streams from all sorts of league racing, whether it be oval, whether it be road. We've got it all right here on SimTV. Tomorrow night, the Indy Elite Series season finale from Auto Club Speedway, followed up by a 3-wide extravaganza at Indianapolis with the IndyCar. And then Tuesday night, we got a triple-header Grid Life, the season finale for the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series, and more. Green flag back in the air. Yusuf Ghali fires off in the 12.
Bailey Turner throwing a block on Adam Cabot as Cabot tried to throw up the inside in turn 3, so Turner remains in second, Cabot in third, and everyone else still sorting themselves out in behind.
Yeah, Bailey Turner shoved that car down into turn 3 to try to get underneath Yusuf Ghali, but wasn't able to do it. That's how good Ghali is on these restarts, is able to throttle down into turn 3 and not have to lift. And behind him, it's a hornet's nest. It's getting pretty chaotic. Jeff Wright lost some spots under that pit stop sequence. Came out of pit road about 8th place. I think he's back into 6th. You see Alec Martinez, who started at the tail of the field. He's up to 9th, and right behind them, Alex Bell. And that's the 29 of Angelo Ronis fighting for 10th.
Yeah, right, fighting with Elliott Butler at the moment. Butler almost in the wall. These guys still go at it. Neither driver giving an inch.
Eddie Trejo right behind as well. Look at the run. Butler got off of turn 4. He's going to take a look down the inside of the front straightaway. The 48's going to give him the lane, but it's so hard to make a pass here on the bottom. 6 car tried throttling up mid-corner and just nowhere to go. Adam Cabot in the 77 looking pretty racy right now. Remember, he started 6th tonight. Has not dropped out of the top 5 yet this evening. Neither has Bailey Turner. And Joshua Banks is only getting better as the night goes on.
Yeah, Bailey Turner is a sliver faster than Yusuf Ghali last time by. I think it might be a little bit more faster as they come across the line. And indeed he was. So Turner's starting to catch back up.
And we always expect cautions to breed cautions here as people get greedy after restarts. See in the background, Matt White on Tim Downey Jr. took a look into 3, not close enough to do anything about it. But you always wonder if these long green flag runs, everyone's gotten more confident in their race cars. They're going to push a little bit harder. But passing has been difficult tonight, and we've seen drivers get relatively strung out and be unable to do anything about it. See Cabot real loose out of turn 2.
Yeah, you really need to have better tires and just get through your corners a lot better. So you can't just hope for the best. You really have to be faster than the guy ahead of you to make a pass.
And again, everyone's got fresh Goodyears on their car right now, so they feel like Superman. But again, you have to pace yourself. We got a long green flag run to start this race. I imagine we'll get a long green flag run in the middle, or maybe even to end this race. So don't burn up your Goodyears early in the run. You want to conserve them for as long as possible, because that's what's going to make you fast at the end of this race.
Yeah, that's the thing, the one worry about the 12 Yusuf Ghali, because he's up in front. He doesn't really have anything to pace himself other than really the 24 behind him. Everyone else is kind of just pacing themselves to the rest of the field. So it's kind of hard to determine how fast you do run, how fast you don't.
Now Jeff Wright just went on by AJ Stravato, puts him back inside the top 5 after that pit stop sequence pulled him out of it. And Adam Cabot's got Joshua Banks all over his rear bumper.
Matt's starting to make some noise.
I'd say the Matt Black on the 36 looks really good. Needs a Monster Energy logo on there somewhere. Closing in on the halfway point of this race, just over 10 laps away, and Yusuf Ghali continues to lead this event. It's only a half a second lead over Bailey Turner, but if he can lead 29 more laps, he will have clinched that point that he needs. But there's a lot on his plate to get himself in the chase tonight, and he's doing everything in his power to get that done.
Yeah, he's also trying to get that extra bonus point for leading at halfway, which he's just 12 laps shy of doing, so he's hoping to hang on until at least that as well.
Zach Halpern again dropping off the ticker momentarily, and hopefully that internet returns him to the racetrack here. It looks like it has. As Cabot and Banks, these guys are still nose to tail, and I expect the 20 or 36 to take a look. Down into 3 underneath them. Dives in, spooks the 77 up the racetrack just a hair. And a drag race down the front straight.
Yeah, not going to be a whole lot. And here you go into 1, deep on the brakes of the 36 up the inside. Cabot's got to yield at least the lane.
There he goes. He's got it.
Going to yield the position.
Oh, a little bit tight out of 2, but finally Joshua Banks into 3rd. We mentioned earlier before the race started that we haven't really seen the pace out of the 36. Well, he's proven us wrong tonight. 10th to 3rd and still climbing.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, last time we were at this track, it was the 36 that went to victory lane.
That sounds accurate. I know the 77 has won here before. I know the 36 has won here before. I think it was Banks.
Oh, wait, no, sorry, I'm mistaken. He didn't go to victory lane.
Oh, he was the one that spun out.
For the win.
Yeah, I think he spun out towards the end. That's what let the 77 get it. That's what happened. Well, if that spin hurt Alex Bell, it really hasn't hurt him a whole lot. I mean, we saw him drop off with pace after he started up on the front row. But this orange and black and chrome machine just has not had the pace throughout a run. It's quick early, and he drops off significantly.
Yeah, he was running at around 9th before that caution came out, running at 11th. Looks like he's faster than the 2 guys ahead, so might find himself back up in 9th there, at least the top 10.
Well, Bailey Turner's keeping Ghali honest this time. He's kept that lead within a second. But it's not shrinking. Ghali's still inching away lap after lap. And Jeff Wright, he's closing in on the 77 now, putting pressure on the Lawn Tech Camaro for 4th.
And speaking of that, Adam Cabot, another driver really expected to be in the playoffs, unfortunately would miss quite a few starts this season. That's pretty much the only reason that really took him out. The races that he has done, he's performed very well.
5 laps till halfway here as we come across the line this time through. And we've kind of established our really the top 5 drivers as the ones that can win tonight. Everyone else, there's a couple drivers I would consider off the pace. Tim Downey Jr., I would have thought would have been higher up the grid tonight. Zach Halpern, we documented his struggles early at the turn 2 wall. But it's been relatively clean and green. We've only had 1 caution so far for a total of 5 laps. Only 1 lead change. That's when Gali took the lead away from Bowers 15 laps in, and he has not looked back since. Jeremiah Vincent closing in on Bell for that 11th spot.
Yeah, in this kind of group, he's riding behind. He's got Bell, Trejo, and Ronas directly ahead of him.
You see Trejo taking a look at Angelo Ronas up the road and not able to get by, but this is kind of a scare tactic as you pull out to driver's left so that they get out of the mirror of the driver in front and sail down the inside and just try to make them outbrake themselves. And it's easy to do here at Richmond. If you don't get yourself on that yellow line and you're not prepared to take that middle groove, it can really mess you up and slow you down. So Trejo's trying to charge in and spook that 29 into submission, but Angelo Ronas is not having any of it and continues to hold on to 9th. You know what? Surprisingly, we have not seen a whole lot of bumping and banging tonight.
Yeah, I guess these guys have been controlling themselves, at least for the first half of this race.
And I think if we get into caution from any time from here on out, I think it's going to be pretty chaotic. You see Yusuf Gali coming on through, and he's going to get the point for leading at halfway. And you take a look at the laps he's led. He has led 85, so he needs to lead 16 more, and he will clinch the most laps led tonight.
I was going to say, that should be a fairly easy task with the pace he's been going at so far in this race.
Yeah, he's not slowing down either. Jeff Wright has been stuck behind Cabot, hasn't been able to find a way around him. What about this aero push we've been talking about all season long with this this car with this big spoiler? How much is that affecting the drivers here tonight at a short track?
It's definitely affecting quite a bit more so than I think a lot of people think. You do see a lot of these similar gaps forming, especially on the restart once these guys get sorted out. So you just gotta really set up the corner beforehand before you make a pass. You can't just lunge in last second in the old package. You really gotta set up the corner down the straightaway and then go for a lunge up the inside.
You see Wright driving in really deep into the corner, but just nowhere to go. He gets to the mid corner, struggles with the turn in, and onto the back straightaway now. He loses all that time on exit.
Yeah. And it's really the with this package, you lose so much. If you try to make an attempt that doesn't work out, you lose so much time on exit compared to the driver you're competing with.
I think that's really why this has been such an annoyance for drivers, is because you can be more aggressive in some respects, but if your move doesn't work out, you end up paying a whole lot more than you put into the system. I mean, you put in $5 trying to make a pass, you're going to lose 50. So it's a frustrating package to drive, certainly on the 1.5 mile racetracks. A little bit less so on the short tracks, because at least you can use the bumper without crashing somebody.
Here's a battle. Eddie Trejo fighting with Angelo Ronas and is throwing this kind of little pack into chaos as Vincent's working the outside of Bell.
Yep, and side by side onto the back straightaway, 21 versus 29. Tucks back in line for a moment, off into 3. Bottles back up, and you see Alex Bell now hunting the 21.
Yeah, he got a better launch out of turn 4. Going to look up the inside.
Oh.
No, he's going to fake the 21 out.
Big dive into turn 1. And right up onto the back of the 29 of Ronas.
And here comes Bell. He's going to look up the inside of Eddie Trejo.
And he's going to get a good run off the corner and should be able to pin that 21 up by the wall. Ronas got a really bad run out of 4 too, so this is going to be a drag race down the front straight. Oh, Trejo in too deep. Up the racetrack, no grip up there in the marbles. And Jeremiah Vincent's not going to pull even with the 21.
Yeah, he's just going to give it up there, give the spot to Jeremiah Vincent.
Now Bell on Ronas.
A little bit loose off the corner for the 15. 29 drove in deep, gonna slide up into the marbles. He'll go. Bell has the better line down the inside.
That's one thing that we have seen tonight that we didn't see in years past, is that the bottom of the racetrack is really the only way around here. We have not seen anybody experiment with the high side like we've seen in the past races here. You see the 21 big slip out of 4. But the outside line, you can't make any moves up there. You can defend okay, but you see Ronus going to lose a spot here. There's marbles up there now too, which is making that even more difficult. So Jeremiah Vincent smells blood in the water with the 29 out of line. He's going to try to follow Bell on through on the bottom. And Alex Bell up into 9th. Jeremiah Vincent all over the back of Alex Bell. That was almost contact there.
He got a little bit too close to the 15 going to that corner, but so far it looks like Bell's going to hold the spot.
I think Vincent's rolling the center a lot better than Alex Bell. Bell's getting, it was a little loose on exit there, so maybe burning up that right rear tire potentially. This has kind of created a little bit of a chain from 9th on back to about, that's Bryce Calusa back in 17th. So there's about 7 or 8 cars that are in line here waiting to pass somebody as they're all starting to kind of accordion together.
Yeah, Tim Downing Jr., he's caught up to his little pack, and he might be able to pass a few cars.
Reggie Ortega was on pit lane. He's pulled off now. Oh, he's got big damage.
To the left side of the car. Oh, he didn't leave pit road. He crashed on the front straightaway.
Oh. Okay, well, let's go back and take a look at that then. I thought that was just happened that happened a little while ago. But he was behind Robert Gaba. They tangle, and Ortega got the short end of the stick and smacked the concrete on the inside of the front straightaway wall. What an unfortunate turn of events for the two.
Yeah, now he'll come down pit road to get service. Might call it a day.
Yeah,
he's got significant damage the way he hit that inside concrete.
Yeah, no caution. We stay green. And as Yusuf Ghali comes around here in turn 4, this will be his 99th lap led, so one more, and he'll clinch that point for leading the most laps tonight. You know what that tells me, Finney? He's on the way to getting himself into the chase. It's still going to be a pretty tall task. He's going to need some other things to fall his way.
Yeah.
But he's doing everything he needs to do.
And that's the key word there. He's doing everything he needs to do to get himself. He's trying to get every single bonus point. The only bonus point he's not going to get at this moment is the one for pole, obviously, because he started in 3rd. But he's gotten every other point in the books.
And so Ghali will come on through, and he will lead 100 laps here at Richmond Raceway. Meanwhile, for 7th, Alec Martinez and Elliott Butler putting on a bit of a show.
Yeah, and also, speaking of which, too, Banks, he's dropped back from 3rd place. He's had Adam Cabot and Jeff Wright get on past him, so he's kind of fallen out of the order. Cabot and Jeff Wright chasing down Bailey Turner yet again. Yeah, Turner putting on a good fight for Yusuf Ghali for the first couple laps after the restart, but since then has slowly, I mean, he just ran a 10th quicker than Ghali, but the 12, I think, is also approaching some lap traffic here, so we might see the lead tighten up a bit in the next couple laps or so. What about pit stops here, Finian? We saw drivers go about 65 laps. Right now we're about 80 away, so are you pitting right when you can? We've got a car loose out of 2. It's Matthew Close. Oh, contact. He's going to crash right in front of the leader. Right in front of Yusuf Ghali. He gathers it back up. That was about as close as you can get to disaster, though, man. Yeah, I'm sure Ghali would have pretty much had a mini panic attack there, hoping that 22 can get it slowed down and corrected in time. Indeed, he did. Going to be a little bit in the way of Bailey Turner now.
Ooh, the 75 just hip checked the 22. Not sure what that was all about, but Close was all over the place on the straightaway, and the 75 came over, kind of made that worse, so not sure what's going on. But Close really struggling with all that damage he's got on his race car. Meanwhile, Cabot now has Wright breathing down his neck for 3rd.
Yeah, the 24, the 77, the 48 have not been able to get themselves separated from each other tonight.
Taking a look one more time at our race information. Still only one caution tonight in 120 laps. And we've only had one lead change. It was at lap 15, and Ghali has not looked in his mirror since then. Bailey Turner works on by Robert Gaba. We've got 17 drivers still on the lead lap. All 17 that restarted in the lead lap are still there, even about 40 or 50 laps after our caution. We've gone 49 laps since that green flag flew. It's about 15 laps until, so this is just a one-stopper from here. Finian, if you're Yusuf Ghali, what's your plan here?
Honestly, run the tank gap, I think, or at least wait until the 3 guys directly behind you make their pit stop. Don't try to do anything too crazy and out of the ordinary. I would say wait for those 3 to come on down, if anything, and then make your way down. Because if you come in too early and a caution comes out, all you've done up until now will be pretty much for nothing.
So staying out kind of immunizes you from all the chaos that could happen. Yeah. So I like that strategy call.
And especially considering how awkward pit entry and exit is here, you know, with guys getting on and off pit road, you can always get a caution mid-sequence. I think I would honestly be safe to say that we've seen quite a few mid-sequence cautions occur at this track.
Yeah, it's not uncommon here. You see Clifton Cockrell going another lap down. Not a good night for the 16 nor for the 26. Again, Halpern, a multi-time winner this year, but early in the going tonight, got in the fence, and he's been struggling with the pace of that race car.
Well, all he needed to do is finish 24th, the clinch spot, and currently running 24th. So
that's not even the worst case. That's really best case. So he can still make it in even if he doesn't finish 24th. He just needs some other things to. 24th would guarantee him no matter what.
Yeah.
We're working our way on lap 126 of 200. About 75 laps to go. Adam Cabot working by Clifton Cockrell and Jeff Wright in the 48. Now, you know, are we a little bit surprised that he hasn't been a bit more of a force tonight? I would have thought he'd be up battling for second and for first, maybe for third and fifth. But what are your thoughts on him? Is this normal Jeff Wright, or is this what we expected?
I think it's kind of more or less normal Jeff Wright. He's been up there. He's been very close to the lead. Obviously, I guess doesn't have the position to necessarily be up there running in fourth, but he's pretty close to the lead. If one of these guys make a mistake or if he's able to strategize them, he could easily take away second, third, second, and even the lead.
Billy Turner working through some lap traffic. He's got Cabot and Wright slowly closing in. Meanwhile, Ronis and Trejo, they're side by side into turn 3. Trejo finally dives in, and he might have the spot, but Ronis going to roll the middle. And on corner exit, still side by side. This is a battle for 11th.
Trejo's sideways down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he just hasn't been able to get the power down and roll through the center as well as the 29. They've been going at this for quite some time. Still going at it. Still sideways is that 21. He's power sliding all the way down the front straight. And finally gets the spot. Now does Ronis cross him over? No, he does not. Behind them, Brandon Bowers. This has been a night gone wrong ever since he had that contact with that lap car. He started on the pole. He led 15 laps. He's now back in 15th spot. Not where he wants to be, and this is really a disastrous night after what started out so promising. Also, Tim Downey Jr. back here. Not a scratch on this 25, but the brakes. So I want to show you when they head down into turn 1 here. It's right on board with the 25. This is his right front brake rotor. As we go down into turn 1, watch how much heat is going on. It's a lot more heat than everybody else out there. So he's been leading on this car and perhaps burning off those tires. He's one of the slowest cars on the racetrack right now. A 22-second lap compared to 21.7s, 21.8s for everybody else.
And I'm a bit surprised that he's running up in 13th, which isn't significantly further the order, but he was running a lot better than this early on, so he's slowly been dropping on back. I just don't think he's really figured out this track. Fortunately for him, he didn't really need to.
No, very, very good in the points. But again, he's one of the only cars to see out here with red brakes, so he's certainly leaning on it. Meanwhile, for second place, Bailey Turner and Adam Cabot. Cabot's caught in the 24.
Yeah, the tricky thing is going to be trying to make a pass here as they work through some traffic. There's some clean track after DeMarco starts, so.
And Cabot just gets so much drive off the corner that the 24 doesn't have. Down into 1.
Too much drive off at turn 4 there, was a little bit sideways.
But look how much he closes through the center, too. I mean, he gained about a half a car length on Bailey Turner just through the center of the corner alone. Throttling back up, Jeff Wright right behind as well, and I think Wright's is going to wait for that door to open. See DeMarco Stark's going to scrape the fence down into turn 1. And second, third, and fourth all on top of each other at the exit of turn 2.
I think we're closing in soon to when we're going to start to see these guys come down on pit road.
Yeah, as we say that, I believe Brandon Bowers is currently on pit lane, so he's the first one that we've really seen. Ooh, Bailey Turner working by Starks on the back straightaway, going to open up an opportunity for Cabot to cross over on exit. And Jeff Wright pulls out a line, maybe trying to spook the 77, can't do it. And Golly's loving this, watching this in the mirror. He's set away 2.1 seconds. Oh, the Cabot deep into turn 3. Almost caught in the back of Bailey Turner. And here comes Wright underneath on exit. That was a big mistake for Cabot, and that's going to actually let Jeff Wright on by.
Yeah, the worst part about that is the 77 and the 24 teammates, and they just kind of both ruined their chances there. That's allowed Jeff Wright to get past 77, and now here he goes to the inside of the 24.
Oh, Bailey Turner throws a block into turn 3. Now you remember back when the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series came to Richmond earlier this year, there was some teammate interaction. It led to some drama and some chaos towards the end with about 60 laps to go. Guess how many laps we have left to go? 60.
Yep, and also involved the number 24.
Some things just like to align like that, don't they? This time it's 3 Chevys instead of a couple of Toyotas, though. And look how close Wright is to the back of Bailey Turner.
And he's going to have a look there on the entry of turn
he's
1,
in deep.
side by side.
That was in really deep, but he managed to hang on to it side by side through 1 and 2. Now onto the back straight. Wright loose off the corner.
Yeah, got a poor drive off, but still going to be present to the inside of Bailey Turner.
And
Turner going to give him just enough space to make it through the corner.
It's so fun watching these guys race because they left each other all the room that they needed and no more. Down into 1. 24 up the racetrack. Cabot's going to slot on in the bottom as well.
Yeah, Turner was trying to pinch in on entry, and he's going to get way too tight off in turn 2. It's going to let Cabot go on by as well. So Turner from second back to fourth in 1 lap.
So right up to second, and now Golly has set out 3.4 seconds. He's got a very comfortable lead. If this race goes green to the end, I think it's safe to say the 12 car's got this pretty much locked up. But I don't think we can say confidently that it will go green all the way to the end.
Yeah, definitely can. I would say, honestly, because he's catching up to quite a bit of lap traffic, I say as soon as he starts to catch some of them, I would say come down to pit road. I think now would be a decent time.
Also, Cabot's not letting up Jeff Wright either. He's actually a little bit quicker than the 48 and putting some pressure to get by for second. Oh, big bobble into the fence. Door smacked the fence out of turn 2. Got a little bit of fender damage on that right front. It shouldn't really affect him, though. There's Golly in the red car right by your screen. That's the gap. 3.5 seconds to Jeff Wright. .55 laps to go this time by. No major front runners heading to pit lane yet. Here's Bryce Calusa, Eddie Trejo. This is for 11th. Haven't talked about Calusa yet tonight. Had a decent run geared up at Pocono last week. Started 18th and 11th right now. Casey Lakatos, another driver we haven't really mentioned. 16th to 13th hasn't been a phenomenal night for him, but still hanging out here. A new paint scheme on board that car this week. Kind of a retro-style SimTV livery.
Yeah, and Casey Lakatos, in fact, if he gets past Eddie Trejo here, he'll clinch a spot into the playoffs. So really? He's close to securing his way in.
Adam Cabot hits pit lane from 3rd. I like this call. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and I imagine we're going to see a trickle effect down the rest of the leaders.
Jeff Wright hits pit lane. Here he comes. And the leader. So that's Yusuf Ghali. So that's first and second down. You see AJ Stravato coming on down from inside the top 5.
Yeah, and everyone's coming on down now.
Bailey Turner stays out, as does Joshua Banks. Turner going to stay out again.
Banks also going to do as well.
So where does the 12 of Ghali pop out of the pits? You see the 48 right behind him. Ghali's out. Jeff Wright out as well. He might have actually lost some ground here to the 12. Oh, yeah. Turner stays out another lap, and Joshua Banks is closing. I'm not quite sure about this for Turner. He's not very good on these old tires right now. He's actually pretty slow, so I would have come in a couple laps ago because it just seems like he's losing time.
I was going to say, you're definitely losing time at this point. We've gone, I would say, ideally, if you wanted to cut this into this entire run into half, you would have come in and around lap 130-something.
So another thing I think
you're running a little bit more.
Another thing I wanted to note was, you see we're looking at the digger cam in turn 2 right now. There's a lot of marbles on the apron. Actually, a ton of marbles on the apron, so you got to be careful leaving pit lane that you don't make a mess of yourself. We've seen a bunch of drivers in practice slip up on the access road, and you don't want to have that be a problem this late in the race.
Whoa, Angelo Rona is slow. I think he's hit the pit attenuator or missed pit road entirely.
Oh, yeah.
And he actually got into some contact with Adam Cabot.
Uh-oh. 29, real slow on the front straightaway. Here's a look. Cabot drove. Ooh. That's bad for the 77. This is a cluster down into turn 3. What happened here? I think the 29 was slowing for pit lane, and Cabot just got kind of boxed in there, and nowhere for him to go. And the 29 was slowing on the apron and wasn't completely off the track. But it's so hard to get slow. It's just, that's a bad situation there for everybody.
Yep.
And for Cabot, that car is pretty much packed in. That thing's destroyed.
Yeah, he's sliding out the corner. And it just makes things worse. He already, when he came, I was checking his pit stop. I was wondering why he was so far behind everyone else. And considering he only came in a lap after, and he slid through his pit stall, so that's why he already lost some time, and then that just kind of ended his chance at a win.
Yeah, so that's not good for Cabot. Could have won this race had things gone his way, but they did not. Yusuf Ghali is the 3.6 second lead over Jeff Wright. They are cycled themselves back out to about 4th place. Still 3 drivers left to pit here. Bit dramatic into 3 right around Cabot in front of them. That's Casey Lakatos. That is the 30 of Jeremy Miller. And the 36 of Joshua Banks. Everyone's on a different lap here. See the 29 of Ronis deep into turn 1. Almost got in the back of the 77. I wonder if there's some hard feelings here.
I'd be curious if there was, because especially in the 29.
Wasn't anything that the 77 really did wrong.
No.
If anything, it was more on Ronis, but again, you can't really blame him because it's hard enough to slow down to get on the apron with how flat it is. I'm going to keep an eye on these two, though. See Jeremy Miller trying to keep up behind him. Miller has not had a great night. He's running in 20th, 3 laps down. Still 2 drivers left to pit. Jeremiah Vincent, Casey Lakatos on the left-hand side of the screen. You see the number of laps they've gone. 84 since their last pit stop.
Yeah, worried about Lakatos staying out here a little too long. He might be just trying to get a bonus point if he can get up to the lead. But the longer he's going to stay out, the more further he's going to be behind.
29.77 down into turn 1. Ronis is going to chuck it down. He'll get that. That was not for position. Ronis is 2 laps down. Cabot is only 1. AJ Stravato, Bailey Turner. This is for position here. Side by side, Stravato a little bit slow on corner exit, and Turner's going to take the spot back easily into 3.
Yeah, he's got the pressure tires to work with.
Ooh, Clifton Cockrell slow on the apron. I don't know if he missed pit lane as well. This is so hard to make it. Oh yeah, I think he just drove right on by. Here's another look. Yeah, just wasn't quite slow enough to make it all the way to pit lane, so he rolled back around. He's going to make it this time, make sure he's going extra slow. Casey Lakatos hits pit lane, as does Jeremiah Vincent. That turns our leader back over to Yusuf Ghali. He's got a 3.5 second lead, 40 laps to go. Do you think that 48's good enough, or do you think it's the 12th race to lose here?
I think it's the 12th race to lose. He's good. I think for him, is just got to hope that caution doesn't come out and just continue what he's doing.
Bailey Turner 5 seconds back from Jeff Wright, so it'll really be between those top 2. And again, I'm still seeing more marbles forming up in the upper grooves, so I think that's a concern as well. We'll take a look at turn 4, and you can see right in front of the camera there is some marbles forming. That tells me that out of the groove. We've seen drivers slip and slide out of the the upper lanes, and this is not something we've seen in the past, Finian. We have not seen the marbles form like this anywhere, and we've really seen the outside lane be a good place to run, but tonight that's not been the case. Marbles are forming, and they're doing what they should be doing, which I can't say I remember that ever happening.
I think it's also due to the fact we've had certainly a large amount of green flag wraps for Richmond with the field size we have, so I think that could be why we're seeing it a lot more. We're seeing it more tonight than we have other nights.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw marbles actually forming. That's why I'm mentioning it. There was a discussion in the forums actually this week that I think Tony Gardner mentioned that they'd actually turned that effect way down for frame rate reasons, and that was why they kind of disappeared from the service for a long time. But I don't remember them turning it back on, or at least they didn't mention that they did. But this is certainly different. I don't think it's just, I think you're kind of right about it being a long green flag run, but we've seen a lot of cars for a lot of green flag runs, and we haven't seen them form like this yet. So props iRacing, because it looks good. See up in the middle of your screen there at the middle groove, all those marbles up there. So really the bottom is the only place that's got grip. See Adam Cabot with all the damage that he's got, he's still running in 6th. He does have Elliott Butler closing in from behind though.
And I imagine Butler might have a better shot at him. Cabot's been slower since he's gotten that damage.
Has certainly not gone the 77's way. Closing in on 30 laps to go. The closest battle right now is the one you're watching with Cabot and Butler. And this is for 6th spot. Dolly is the only non-Chevrolet in the top 5 right now. There's only 2 Toyotas in the top 10 and a Ford. That's Brandon Bowers in the 31, who's actually recovered kind of nicely. But has he made his final stop? It looks like he has. So Bowers is actually slightly recovered from a race that was going downhill earlier. You see Butler going by Cabot. And the lead has grown for Golly, 3.8 over Jeff Wright. But some 2 wide lap traffic in front of him.
Yeah, makes some quick work with it. Gets by Bowers, and now going to set sights on DeMarco Starks.
Into turn 3, Stark's going to leave a bunch of lanes on the bottom.
Yeah, and only 10 cars on the lead lap, actually 9 now, with Bowers going a lap down.
That's just the pace that the 12 has been setting with only 1 caution. It's really slowed, or really been a quick pace tonight, and it's been hard for drivers to stay on the lead lap with Golly running so quickly. This is for position, by the way, the 31 and the 82. That's that black and blue and the white and red car.
So here comes Brandon Gagnon through the picture. He's got fresher tires than anyone here. Oh boy.
It's actually the last car running on the racetrack. He's 5 laps down and 3 wide through the middle of 3 and 4. There's pass for position. Bryce Calusa working his way inside the top 10, gets by Bowers. Meanwhile, Adam Cabot is getting run down by none other than Alec Martinez, the points leader, walking into the night. And again, Martinez didn't have to do anything. He doesn't like this track very much. He's said it many times in the past. This is not his favorite place to go.
Yeah, he's not showing up here, or almost not showing up here in the past.
Well, he almost didn't run the fuel race here a couple months ago, but he ended up running top 5. But again, we're right on board the right front suspension cam again, and you're just going to see how much heat he's got generated. He's just driving the heck out of this thing. He doesn't care. But still a top 10 run tonight. It's going to be one of only 2 races that he's not finished top 5 this season, but certainly not a shabby night regardless. AJ Stravato, with all the bad luck that he's had, tonight has gone pretty flawlessly.
You think you should wait 25 laps to say that?
Yeah, I probably should. But 12th to 4th. He does have Banks right behind him that is actually closing pretty quickly here. But a top 5 would be huge for this 33 Allied team, just to get them pointed in the right direction after all the bad luck that they've had this season.
Yeah, we're really going to have to wait until the end of the race to give everyone a picture of who's in, who isn't, because a lot of guys are running good, a lot of guys are running poorly, so...
Yeah, and make sure you stick around after the race to hear from our top 3 finishers, and tell you who's in the chase, the top 10 drivers that will move on to the playoffs or the chase round. I believe we go to Talladega next week.
Yep.
Is where we begin our chase. So some restrictor plate racing for the first time since we visited Daytona at the beginning of the season. That's always a fun time. Banks putting a lot of pressure on Stravado for that fourth spot. Whoa, real tight out of turn 2. Gonna swing left into 3 and dive underneath, and I don't think Stravado's gonna fight it. I think he's just gonna let the 36 have it.
No need to really ruin a good run just by over one spot. Still running strong in 5th.
That's another 5 seconds back to Elliott Butler, so I don't think there's any urgency to really stay in the spot that he was. No urgency for Yusuf Ghali either. 4.3 seconds, and it was his race win at ISM Raceway a couple weeks ago where he realized he could still race his way into the chase. It was going to take a monumental effort, and had things gone a little bit better at Pocono last week, he might have to do a little bit less tonight. It's still a tall task, and it's going to require some other drivers to have poor finishes here. But he could potentially work his way in with the night he's had. And what a shame it would be for him not to get in after 2 race wins. If he does end up wrapping this one up, 2 race wins at a time of the season, which are incredibly important. It's just the first part of the season that did him dirty.
Yeah, even too, just looking at, I'll read off his last 2 finishes. I was looking at it earlier in the race. So over the last 4 races, he's finished from Chicagoland to Pocono 5th, 1st, 3rd, and then the 21st of Pocono, which really hurt him. But looking at another win tonight.
I mean, that's just a phenomenal record. He's led 154 laps tonight. That is exceptional. And we still have another 19 laps to go. Close battle on the racetrack right now between Banks and Stravado, but again, I think Banks is still pulling away. No other really tight battles to speak of other than Trejo and Lakatos. You see that battle here, but that's only about a second or so, so not as close as the other battles involved. Alec Martinez closing in on Elliott Butler. This is for 6th. Butler kind of fading in and out here. Adam Cabot back to 8th. This is such a disappointing end to what could have been a race win tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure he definitely would have been hoping for this to go a lot better than it has. But unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't turn out that way.
Butler, oh, a bit of contact between Butler and Martinez. The 18 shoving the 6 out of turn 4. That's probably one of the only bumps that we've seen under normal racing conditions tonight. Everyone's been either unable to get to the bumper or too nice to move anybody.
And here's the thing, too. Actually, Ghali's about to put this group a lap down.
Yeah, see him at the top of the screen coming into the shot here. So the urgency is picking up. If there's a late race caution, you don't want to be a lap down.
It's only 8 drivers on the lead lap as we run.
Cabot's in here as well, trying to hang on to his spot. 18 throttles up, and he's a little bit better than Butler right now. 14 laps to go. This is a departure for these guys. The last couple races, they've kind of had a bunch of yellows, and there was some frustration within the community about the recent collisions that they've had, and the number of cautions has been rising throughout the season. But tonight, whatever happened tonight, they turned it all around. It's been a spectacular race. Yeah. Very, very clean. Only one caution that almost shouldn't have been a yellow.
Yeah, someone would argue, whoa, as you say that, Alec Martinez got really sideways on one.
Yeah, here's a quick look at that in slow motion as he comes down into turn 1. All sorts of sideways here. Here's a look. You see the wheel inside that car turn dead right. Tried to save it. He did a good job locking up those brakes again, but it's been a wild night for the 18. He's been wheeling the heck out of that thing. Up front, no change since the lap 15 lead change. We've only, well, other than the green flag stop, so you can't really count that. But 9 official lead changes, but I really only count 1 under normal green flag conditions. That was back in lap 15 when Bowers and Gali traded spots. Since then, Gali has essentially been the sole leader of this event.
Yeah, he's pretty much dominated tonight. No other words for it. In another 10 laps, we'll be taking home the win.
10 laps to go here at Richmond Raceway for the Outsider Racing League round number 14. It's the regular season finale. And Gali's fighting for a position in the chase after a late season surge. He's got 10 more laps to prove that he belongs in the chase field this season. But it might not be enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really close. It's really interesting because a lot of the guys that are trying to get themselves in, they're running fairly well tonight. So it's kind of up in the air. He might get close, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Again,
we'll have to see, though.
This format is there's wins, whatever, doesn't matter. It's straight up top 10 in points get to move on to the chase. So a win doesn't lock you in. A win doesn't really do you any good other than get you bonus points for the reset here heading into Talladega next week. So unfortunately for Gali, even the win that he got at ISM Raceway didn't guarantee him anything other than the momentum to move forward into the chase. Angelo Ronis really struggling in that 29 right now after his collision. He's dropped all the way back to 17th. So as we came into the night, it was Eli Hinton and AJ Stravato that were tied for the 10th spot. But with Hinton not here tonight, that's going to put Stravato certainly into 10th and almost in a position to clinch it as things stand. But again, I don't even know if Gali's done everything he could do. I just don't think it's going to be enough, even with all the other drivers finishing behind him and with Gali leading the most laps, leading at halfway and winning this race. Coming back to 5 laps to go. Gali closing in on some more lap traffic. Alec Martinez has dropped off from Elliott Butler. I think he's burned up his stuff a little bit too much. Adam Cabot also in the same boat with some damage from the collision with Ronis. Next week, we head to Talladega Superspeedway for the first round of the Outsider Racing League Chase. And here is the schedule for the Outsider Racing League Chase. We head to Talladega, then Watkins Glen, Kentucky, Martinsville, Dover, and Indianapolis. That is a very difficult string of racetracks to go to. We go to a super speedway, we go to a road course, we go to a couple of short tracks, we go to Dover, which is kind of a mix of everything, and then Indianapolis to finish off the season, which is anybody's race. So this is going to be a challenging chase, especially Talladega and Watkins Glen. That's going to weed out the week, certainly in the first couple rounds. Two laps to go, about a mile and a half left for Yusuf Gali, closing in on the 8th and 7th place cars. But it's a full 5 seconds back to Jeff Wright, who wasn't able to do a whole lot about this tonight. Was quick, but not quick enough to go catch that 12.
Oh, Adam Cabot got into Alec Martinez just up the road from this, and Martinez went sliding to turn 3. We're going to still remain green here, and Gali's going to take the white flag.
White flag in the air one more time around. The first part of Yusuf Ghali's season, driving the Ford, wasn't going his way. He switched to the Toyota, immediately went out and won at ISM Raceway a few weeks ago. It's going to be a tall task to make his way into the chase, but he gave it everything he had tonight. Yusuf Ghali rolls out of turn 4, and he gets it done and wins at Richmond. Jeff Wright comes home in second, 5 seconds back. Bailey Turner in third. Joshua Banks right behind him. AJ Stravato in 5th. He might clinch that final 10th spot as Elliott Butler and Alec Martinez work their way through. Cabot all over the bumper, that 18, slipping and sliding to the line. Crash.
Whoa, crashing at the line.
And Cabot spins it out, and they get back to the checkers, but it's Martinez 7th, Cabot in 8th. But how about this guy? What a late season surge. And we're not exactly sure how the points are going to work out just yet, but he might have not had enough to get in even after his 2 wins in his other top 5s. Either way, it's going to be a celebration.
Yeah, either way, it was a valiant effort.
He gave it everything he had.
Everything he needed to do to get done tonight, but I'm sure he's definitely going to be looking back if he doesn't make it in on what happened at Pocono and some other races earlier in the season.
The only other way he could have maxed the points out was by winning the pole, but he started in third. He was almost did that too. So burnouts in turn 3 and 4 for the 12 car. Celery, you can really see how many marbles are up there. They really did change something. They definitely fixed something, because that has never happened before. At least not to the extent that I'm seeing it. But I'm okay with that. All right, Yusuf Ghali's your race winner. Here's a look at your results scrolling across your screen. 195 green flag laps out of 200 scheduled tonight. 5 caution laps tonight. What a record that is. That's got to be one of the most green races we've ever done that wasn't a perfectly green race from start to finish. That's the way Motorsports cars doing some burnouts at the start-finish line. And taking another look at our race results. Disappointments tonight for Zach Halpern. Tim Downey Jr. Only ended up with 15th. Angelo Ronas back in 16th. And for other drivers like Bruce Boyer, 27th, 112 laps down. Not the way he wanted to end tonight. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk to your race winner and more. We'll be right back.
To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars. Found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that has not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered Landis? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
Welcome back live to Sim TV. We're here now with our 5th place finisher and last chase contestant. 10th place, he clinched a spot, 5th in the race tonight for the 33 of AJ Stravato. AJ, hey, first of all, congratulations, you did it right. Something went right tonight. And the Ally, do it right, you did it right tonight. 5th place and a clinch spot in the chase. Talk us through your night and your expectations for the playoffs here.
Well, I definitely didn't get a good qualifying lap in. I definitely felt like I could have top 5 would have left a bit easier. But just biding my time, really wanted to save my tires. 20 to 30 laps, I'd say, save the tires, and just kind of work your way forward from there. In terms of the chase, I'm just taking it one race at a time. I believe Talladega first, so we'll see.
Of course, we got Talladega, Watkins Glen, Kentucky, Dover, some other all sorts of tracks on there. Which of those tracks do you think is going to be your weakest heading into it?
I would say Martinsville, the best short track racer, to be honest with you. But Dover's a good track for me. Anything mile and a half is pretty good, and I'm okay at Watkins Glen. I'm not the best, but Sonoma definitely was my worst of the road courses, and I believe a 6th there. So we'll see. Just kind of take it one race at a time.
All right, AJ, hey, congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you compete in the chase. Talladega next week. Good luck out there.
Thank you, brother. Good job, guys, on the broadcast.
Absolutely. All right, moving on now to our 3rd place finisher tonight. It'll be Bailey Turner in the number 24. Bailey tonight, not quite quick enough to go get that win, but good enough for a top 3 tonight. What'd you need to go get, Jeff Wright and Yusuf Ghali?
Yusuf was just really consistent. On the beginning of that second to last run, me and him were pretty even. And there was just a nice bubble of air right there and never could really get past about 5 or 4 tenths, closer to his bumper. So I just started riding there and burned up my right front, trying to work my way through lap traffic. And that allowed Jeff and Adam to catch me there. And after that, I was just trying. I knew I was bad in the long run, so I stayed out a little bit longer because I wanted to shorten up that last run. And ended up working out and getting me the P3.
We got 6 rounds left in the season. We start with Talladega next week, then Watkins Glen, Kentucky, and some more. Are there any tracks on the upcoming schedule that you have circled that you think you can or should win at? Or are you just going to go out there and think you can win them all?
Short tracks would, I'd say, maybe my best bet. I love racing short tracks. I think that showed my tonight and back at Phoenix. Shorter tracks, I guess. But it was a good race. I was surprised we went that green the whole time. My arms are killing me. So looking forward to the next few weeks.
All right, Bailey Turner, 3rd place tonight in the number 24. Thanks for talking. Good luck at Talladega.
Thanks.
2nd place, Jeff Wright tonight, 5.5 seconds back from Yusuf Ghali. Jeff, Ghali was quick tonight, but what'd you need to go get him? Talk to us about your night.
Yeah, Yusuf was quick, and first got to congratulate him on a great race ran. He was definitely on his game tonight. I don't know. This Richmond race felt a lot different than past Richmond races. It seemed like you really couldn't move around a whole lot. It was pretty much you got to stick to the bottom. And I mean, the tires wore, but it really didn't feel like you had to change your line a whole lot. And just kind of something I'm not really used to. It's something that Richmond the track would change and you could kind of utilize different lines. And it just seems like whatever I was doing, I just could not keep up with Yusuf at all tonight.
Heading into the chase, obviously, you're going to be one of the contenders. As we take a look at the upcoming schedule, we got Talladega coming up. That's kind of a wild card. Then we got Watkins Glen, kind of another wild card there. Then we head to Kentucky, Martinsville, Dover, and Indianapolis to round out the rest of the season. Tracks on there that you should win at, you can win at, and how much of a chance do you think you have for this championship?
Yeah, definitely. I got high hopes going into the chase here for the championship run, and would like to, win some races along the way if I can. But the main thing is getting those points, getting those bonus points. Try to lead some laps. Try to get a pole. Just try to point your way as much as possible. And if the wins come, great. But really want to get Dark Smoke a championship. I'd love to get Andrew Telganoff a series title in this league. Just appreciate everything the team's done for me and everything. And definitely got Watkins Glen circled on the calendar for sure. Martinsville, Dover, all tracks that I like and feel confident at. So yeah, we'll try to go get a win and definitely try to go get a championship.
All right, Jeff Wright, 2nd tonight, championship contender. Good luck next week at Dega.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right, moving on now to our race winner tonight, Yusuf Ghali, the number 12. Yusuf, tonight you started in 3rd. You led 171 of 200 laps tonight. Domination that we just haven't seen yet this season. Unfortunately, it was too little too late for the chase, but you got to be pretty happy with the performance uptick that you've seen in recent weeks.
Oh yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with the races these last couple weeks. Stuff hasn't gone my way, especially last week, but I do everything I can, and it normally works.
I think is there.
Uh,
I was going to ask if there was some solace heading into the chase. Now that you know that you're not in it, I think that takes some pressure off. So you head into the next couple weeks. I mean, just going for broke, you're doing everything you can to win, or are you still going to kind of run it like you were in it?
just gonna run it the way I was running it. I did everything I can to make it. I'm not gonna let that stop me from going for the win. Not gonna race the chase guys horribly, but I'm still gonna do what I can to win.
Of course, Talladega next week, a wild card, then Watkins Glen, Kentucky, and some other racetracks on there that are pretty challenging. Of the racetracks that we have, I think I mentioned almost all of them except for Martinsville. Are there any tracks on there that you're concerned about your performance at?
Kentucky and Dover are specific, especially with this new package. I just haven't spent much time with those. And I think I'm in the Dash for Cash for Indy, so that's another track I gotta get more experience at.
All right, lots on the line for Yusuf Ghali. Still, maybe not a championship, but a bunch of race wins potentially coming. Second of the season, Yusuf. Congratulations. Good luck next week at Talladega.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll roll through our race results one final time here, Finney. And we heard Jeff Wright talk about the race not migrating to that upper line, and I really do believe there's something up with those marbles. It's a very different race than we've seen in recent weeks. Your thoughts on 200 laps of racing at Richmond?
Yeah, these guys did an awesome job tonight, every single one of the drivers on the track, for keeping it pretty green. Even the one caution that we did have, that wasn't really a caution in my book. So, Bell did a great job saving the car, pretty much kept it green. Obviously, the system threw the caution, but other than that, we probably would have seen the race go green all the way to the end.
195 green flag laps. Tomorrow night, we run at Auto Club Speedway for the season finale for the Indy Elite Series. That'll be right here on SimTV at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. It is a Coca-Cola Triple Crown tomorrow night. And then right after Indianapolis with the 3-Wide Racing League. And then on Tuesday night, a triple header Elite Modified Tour on Speed51.com. And then it's the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series finale from Las Vegas and Grid Life Crowd Control Cup from Circuit of the Americas at the same time. Make sure you're there right on here on SimTV. Hit that subscribe button, hit the likes. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.